Okay, let's see if this works here. I'm showing a few things that I find it difficult to use my device and go onto Twitter and show different screens. So I'm trying this out. So hopefully this will be something that is a little clearer, a lot clearer actually than my normal lives. But I can't do this all the time. But I think this is important. Okay, people. Um, what you're seeing in front of you is a screenshot from a newswire that is telling about the 11 bases that are specifically identified, as it says, that are going to be used as quarantine places. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to tell you, I want you people to listen to me for a second. There's been a lot of conspiracy uh, wrapped around FEMA camps. And I don't like to use the word conspiracy theorist because the truth is there's conspiracy facts. You know, I don't even have to go into our past and things that have happened that have been a conspiracy against others. Okay. There are theories about things that are going to come up, and a lot of them come to be true. Okay. So, if anyone has a theory, feel free to note it in the comments or to speak your voice. Start your own channel. You know, I think that the more information that we get out, more information we'll have, because we just found out that bleach won't kill this stuff. So you could clean your house with bleach, your truck with bleach all day long, your vehicle, whatever you want to use. It's not going to kill it. And the fact that they were spraying that Chisol is what I'm calling it down the streets and alleyways of Wuhan and other places leads me to believe it was a vapor. And I was like, oh God, if it is, because the measles was a vapor and it had an RO factor, a spread factor of 15. Okay, average. Okay. Well, they just had news in London, I believe it was, somewhere in England, UK, that they had one guy that infected, I want to say it was 12 other individuals or 11 or something like that. But he could have, that was in like no time. He could have easily infected 15 or 18 or 100. They're not super spreaders. They're all super spreaders. Everyone with this disease is just as contagious as the last. And I'm going to go one further too. There is no genetic marker or genome or receptor or any kind of a RNA strand, because this is RNA, that I have ever studied that I know of that could possibly tell the difference between its host from one race or color or creed or nationality to another. I'm going to explain some things real quick while you can read this. Those are the locations of what will be in the United States, the quarantine camps. But that's just the start. But I'm gonna go into this for a second. I want people to understand this. Don't be racist. Don't be hateful. Now, having said that, is it smart to hang around somebody that just left Wuhan? No, it's not. But to have a mindset that if you really believe that it's only affecting Chinese people, no, that just happens to be where they let this bioweapon out by accident. So I'm going to give you some information that will make you understand this better, and it doesn't have anything to do with about whether you're male or female either, because that's untruth. That's a misnomer. Okay, that is not true. Um, Here's why. Let me just get straight into that. China had a one child policy for a very long time. In China, they raise more than girls. Why? Because they would carry on the family name, because they would work and make money, and they could work harder in the field, and they could pick up heavy things. They valued males more than females. So when they would have, since they could only have one child, if they had a girl, they would kill it. There would be a one of those kind of back alley abortion kind of things, or if they could smuggle it out, it would be smuggled. If they even cared to, it would be smuggled to an adoption place, and people would adopt them. Um, Now, because of that, years later, long time it's been that they've been doing this. There's a problem. All of the men in China are having a really hard time finding women to marry. Why? Because there's no females that were born because they stopped it. So once you get that in your head, you'll be like, oh, there's less living females in China. So there's less spread of this disease in females because there's less females for it to spread in. That's the only reason. And the only reason it hasn't gotten because we have quarantined it to some ships, but they're letting them off now. So it's just a short matter of time. 5 months, 6 months, and 7.6 billion people on the planet will have this disease. It's not even a disease, it's a bioweapon. It spreads, it's designed to spread like this, but it lives on surfaces magically for 9 days. Every other known disease is dead in 5 days. Okay. It's a vapor, like the measles. So it's spreadable not just 6 feet, 15 feet to infinity, 20 feet, 100 feet, 1,000. That's why they spraying down the entire roads. Okay. And as far as washing your hands, yes, wash your hands. Yes, you can clean with bleach. Yes, you should clean with that other cleaner that's got alcohol and peroxide in it, because that kills the flu, which would make you weak. But it's not about beating this thing. It is a disease that gets into your lungs and will kill you, and it was by design. Don't feel bad if you die from this, or if you think that you're right at death's door and you're like, I know I'm going to die from it. Don't feel bad. It's nothing your body didn't do good enough, or that you weren't genetically designed to live on this planet. This stuff is designed to kill you, and it's doing its job. Don't beat yourself up about it. There's going to be a lot of people who do die. 500 more doctors. Now, one doctor, he had the ability, he was trying to tell about it at first. He had the ability to wash his hands, and I'm sure he washed his hands. He also had the ability to have full biosuit and all this stuff and protect himself. He had the ability on his lunch break to just go take a test and see what was wrong with him. And he did. I'm sure that's how he diagnosed himself. And so right there, he's already in the hospital and already could have had a bed. They got him a bed. They gave him the best treatment available. Guess what? Newsflash. He died. He was 34. That's younger than me and younger than most people out there. And I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter how strong you are. This stuff is made to kill you. I believe it's a matter of how much in the air, what percentage of this virus you have versus oxygen, as to whether it will kill you or not. That's what a lot of other people are believing also. I'm also saying that it has a RO factor of about 15, but it could be as much as 1,000. One person can infect 1,000 people, but right now the true numbers are looking like the doctor is saying, like the crematories over there saying, that they're running 24/7. They're even showing the hot spot over there where they're doing the open burning of bodies now at this point, but that's in a different place. So just keep this in mind. The virus is not a virus. It's a bioweapon, first off. Second, bleach won't even kill it. It lives in bleach. That's impossible for anything, but it is now. It's possible now. They made it that way. And I have another theory. I'll give it another video. I'm not going to get into it about why they've got them singing out the windows, but we'll go into that later. I put some stuff up on Twitter. The true numbers, though, that are coming out from these doctors, now that 500 more are sick, by the way, and they're going to die from it, I'm sure. But these numbers, and the nurse that she went back into the hospital. It's in both lungs now. Her husband was trying to take care of her, but they did a CT scan. They gave her like 15 liters or bags or whatever of medicine. God knows how many shots. It's a Hail Mary pass at this point. But even if you have a hospital bed, which they barely got her into one, over there, I think we'll have a better response to it over here as far as hospital beds. But then you got to stay in there for 14 to 24 days, because now it can hide for 24 days. And even if you're clear at 14, you may be a spreader even after that. So I don't know, once people fill up these beds, how they're going to get them out of the beds and have more. We do have a lot of beds in the United States, but it's not enough for everyone. And really, they need to be all special rooms like Ebola patients get. Not just a negative air pressure, but in bags and all that. This is highly infectious. And they're even saying that, just like I said, that the bodies will be more contaminated. They're using double body bags. They're having to use 2 bags on them because the gases come out of their stomach and out of their mouth even after they're dead, just like I said would. And this is a bioweapon. You got to think of it in that way, whether you like it or not. Okay. So the real numbers being somewhere around, probably it could be into the 1.5 million now, but let's say at least 180,000. The doctors were saying 160,000 at the middle to end of last month being the true numbers, and saying they're fudging them. Everyone's saying that China's lying about the numbers. And now they have even a new rule that says if they what is it? If they don't show symptoms, even though they've been tested, that they're not calling them confirmed. Something weird. They're just really trying to cook the books on this one. All right, so if you got 180,000 people infected and you go back and you divide it by 15, you'll come up with a smaller number right around December, and it all matches up. I was giving an RO of 3 conservatively and saying that in 5 to 6 months, the whole planet will have it. I'm still saying that the spread and transmission, the whole world will have it in 5 to 6 months. You could take someone who has an RO factor of 15, put them in a box, and they will infect no one. However, the disease still has an RO factor of 15. So the idea is to get the RO number down is to quarantine. Quarantine them on the ships. It's just going to double them. They need to take them off, put them in rooms, some kind of a cubicle like a jail cell, okay, that is disposable afterwards. Don't put them in jails. Build cells, build something out of fiberglass that can be destroyed. Or cleaned in a way that it can be reused, because you can't just put them, they're putting them in some kind of a hall in London, or no, I'm sorry, Toronto, Canada, somewhere in Canada. I don't know if it's Toronto or not. Somewhere in Canada, a plane just landed. I think they called it Trenton. I thought it was New Jersey, but it's Trenton. And New Jersey's got a whole ship of them that they just unloaded. So I'm just looking at New Jersey going, bye-bye. I don't see that happening good. 24 days this thing can be in its incubation period, or its dormant stage, or whatever you want to call it, where it's still in them and they are infectious to everyone the whole time. However, and one woman and one man, 2 different situations, were next to someone and they did that tree. They were only standing next to them for 15 seconds, and one of them was on camera. And the guy got it, and the other one, the woman, got it. Both of them, 15 seconds. So you could easily say that someone has an RO factor of 1,000,000. You could be 15 seconds in proximity of someone else, and they would all get it. The virus is not just going to stop spreading because it's, oh, I'm at 15. No, it's average number is the RO. Right now, that average number has only been low because they're lying about the numbers. Now, if the numbers are higher, that means the death rate, like I figured, is around anywhere from 3% to 20%. I hate to even say 20%. It could be 40%, but I hate to say as high as 20%. But let's just say it's 3 to 5% death rate. But no one is shown. You're not seeing 160,000 people saying, "Hey, I'm cured. I feel great now," and they're not being proven to be uninfectious afterwards. They could be like typhoid Marys. So you see this in front of you right now. Okay, so this is a basic classified first. This is primary. Okay, I would say go there. Everyone. That's why I wanted to just dispel rumors of, oh, well, you don't want to go to the FEMA death camps and crap like that. That is such a plan for this, and they already bought a bunch of caskets. I don't think they'll use them. I think they figured out we will have to have crematorium set up. But keep this in mind. If you think you're going to stay home like that doctor did and go to that so-called pseudo pharmacy and buy prescription number 2, it looks like, I think he was making tea with it. It looked like cockroach tea. That I'm just being honest. This is what it looked like. You can see the video. I'll put a link to it. The point is this: if you think you're going to stay home and eat cabbage and that, and it's going to sleep at night, and you do want to keep, your vitamins and mineral levels up, and that kind of thing, and vitamin C, there's a emerging C with the letter C that has like 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. That would, anything that will help your immune system be high. However, you're trying to be immune from a bioweapon. You may anyway. I'm just being completely honest. So I'm gonna say this though: getting to this place, that woman needed all those vials and all. That was like a Hail Mary pass. They put, I don't know how many shots in her arm, 7 or 10 or 15, and I think they said, I don't know how many vials, how many bottles of fluid. It was a lot, something like 11 or so. So maybe it's 15. The thing is, you need that, and you don't have that at your house. If they ask you to go to one of these quarantine centers, they will know what they're doing because they're military, and they will have some type of medicine that will help you. You're not going to holistically heal yourself from a biological weapon. Get over yourself with that, people. Okay? Try to get off this, but this, like I said, JB Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. Let's see, is that right? I think that's right. Yeah. Great Lakes Training Center, Naval Base, Illinois, Naval Air Station, Joint Reserve Base, Texas, March ARB CA LAX, Travis Air Force Base, California, Dobbins Air Base, Georgia. I know where that's at. I know where Fort Hamilton, New Jersey is. Let's see. Anacostia, DC. These are all far out there. I wonder why I guess they didn't use Florida because, well, they may at some point. Let's see. Joint Base, McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst, New Jersey. Yeah, New Jersey's going to need one. They just let that boatload of people off, and they weren't even wearing most people up like that. And the ships, I don't know. Quick, let's see if I can get into something real quick.
And back to you. There has been this concerted effort, hasn't there? And the WHO Director General talking about how there needs to be solidarity.
Tell the truth
just
when they
talking
tell you
about the
just to wash your
dangers
hands
now
and feel
faced
good.
by European countries. We've had the super spreader in the UK.
Super spreader.
One
Listen.
guy who's apparently spread the disease to 11 different people. So the rate at which it can grow is quite frightening.
Yeah, check this out. 11 people. So if that tells you anything, he didn't infect 11 people and then he's not going to infect anyone else. No, they got him in the hospital. This disease has the possibility of having an RO of 1,000, 1,000,000 one person could infect. But because these people are going in for help and they're trying to watch it and they're trying to quarantine, we can get the RO of a very, very deadly disease down to 0 if we quarantine these people away from each other in little cubicle kind of things with a negative pressure where it's blowing out one side and actually treat it like Ebola. We have the ability to do this. We just need to do it. There's places that, oh man, the one in Canada, like I said, I don't know what they called the place. There's a name for it. I guess it's an old college campus. They seem to be thinking that, and stuff. That's just going to spread disease within it, all of them. Just like it would, only worse, more so than even if they were on a cruise ship. Because they're using the same sinks. Which now they're saying that fecal transmission is not just from using a restroom, flushing the toilet, and it's wafted up in the air because the stuff acts like a vapor or a gas. It's not just from if they didn't wash their hands afterwards. It's going into the septic tank, but up through the pipe and in through and out of. The gas will come out of the bottom of the sink. I'm thinking before they flush, they should be using peroxide and whatever kills it and doing the same down the sink drain. But then that in itself will mess up the septic system and kill all the bacteria in it. But, it'll need to be done, and then they can put some more bacteria in it later with some of that Rid-X. I'm just being honest. That's how it's going to have to be done, and they're going to have to destroy those ships. Those ships are going to be super spreaders because it's in their pipes and everybody's getting it on those ships.
Clear those speeds and how the virus is transmitted. Interestingly, I was talking to the WHO.
Super spreaders
would not be seen in their classification as an actual super spreader. I think here again we're on this tightrope between doing the right thing, making sure every containment measure possible is taken, and not causing over anxiety, over alarm. And I think, fair enough, it's right that European countries, that's what the WHO is saying, of course they need to prepare. Preparedness is something the WHO is underlining all the time. But, perspective.
They weren't prepared to call
well.
it an epidemic into a pandemic.
It's the winter flu season.
Whatever.
There are many more people in Europe.
Oh, I wanted to say something too. They are going to have 100 people get together and do a conference in somewhere. The WHO actually called a conference of 100 doctors, and they're going to get together and see what works and what don't work. Well, it's all about quarantine. Like I said, they need to have the military enact it, a true room and a wash down room. All that stuff needs to be enacted. They need a detection system for it. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen, and they need to do it. And only the military is equipped or trained in how to deal with bioweapons and contagions like this. I'll let her keep talking for a second.
And the infirm.
There's another video, a couple of them I want to show.
As things stand at the moment, than from the coronavirus. And I think what the WHO probably would like to see,
and it's not the flu, it's way
just as well against virus. Washing your hands, not going to work when you're sick, using tissues when you sneeze or cough. All of those things are what people should be doing.
Well, what are you going to wash your hands with?
Worry too much.
If it don't
Imogen,
kill
that's
it,
very, very good practical advice there. Imogen Fuchs in Geneva and Stephen McDonnell in Beijing. Thank you very much indeed.
Now, people, do you think that the doctor that died and the other 500 doctors that got this, you think they washed their hands? I bet you they did. Religiously. I'm telling you. It's not just the proximity they had, because there's millions of other people that are in that country. I think it's over the million mark. I think it's about 1,600,000 now. But just going by the other numbers, you get an RO of the funeral homes are telling how many bodies they're burning. They're saying 50,000 dead, at least. They're also saying that only 38% of them are coming from the hospitals, and 61%, I don't know what the others, I guess, are just dead from other reasons. The 61% that they know are also dead from that flu. They're picking them up at their homes. And they're using double body bags. So that's another reason they're running out of body bags, is to protect themselves, because the gases escape from the person into the body bag. So this thing's oriented to get into my list. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can go into my playlist that I was just at. That was really good that I just paged, but I don't want to hear. Second evaluation, Pandora's box. Let's see. Burnout health workers, coronavirus. Well, yeah, that's where they're killing them for talking, speaking out. New coronavirus. Let's see. The study raises concerns. No, we're going to go with this right here, and then we'll go forward from here. Start with the funeral homes, talking about how they're
funeral home staff inside Wuhan are facing an extreme workload and a shortage of body bags. This as conditions continue to worsen in the city. And today's Xiaohua Gu has a story.
Not a single day off after January 28th, unable to go home for multiple days in a row, waiting to collect and cremate bodies at any time, day or night. This is what life is like for funeral home staff inside Wuhan.
Those are body bags in that shuttle bus.
Center in China.
That shuttle bus
One worker's voice
is running back
has
and
been
forth
distorted
to the
to
hospital.
protect his identity.
That's just one hospital. 8 bodies.
We're on call 24 hours a day. Staff members will briefly take a nap after coming back and go out again if there are any phone calls, because bodies cannot be left inside hospitals for long.
I want to say this too. They actually took the chairs, the seats, they call them chairs, or that was the translation. I'm sure they said seats. The seats out of those shuttle buses so that they could put bodies in it.
Videos claiming to come from funeral homes in Hubei province, where Wuhan is located, are circulating on social media. The one Yun works for used to cremate 30 bodies per day, but adding that hospitals don't always wrap them.
A dead person would still have some air and bacteria inside his belly, and it will come out when moving the body. That's why we have to use 2 bags for each person.
Yun said the cremation furnaces are running 24 hours
There's
a
8
day,
in there.
though they may not be burning bodies at all times.
Whenever
Family
it leaves,
members
it's
aren't
like
allowed to see the bodies either, for fear of the infection
10,
spreading. Reporting by
15,
Xiaohua Gu, NTD
whatever they
News,
put
New
in.
York.
Because there's a law says they got to have them there in 30 minutes or less. It's almost like pizza delivery at this point. The government says you have to go pick them up. It has to be removed from the hospital now so that nobody sees it. So, yeah, then there's that. This is the whistleblower that got missing.
These are images the Chinese government doesn't want you to see.
They don't want
A
you to see
medical
this.
center in Wuhan, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak.
But we need the truth.
Under stress, short on supplies, overwhelmed with patients. The video is from Chun Cho, a lawyer who made the risky choice to become a citizen journalist and defy government efforts to control information.
In front of me is the virus.
He's probably
Behind
dead.
me is the legal and administrative power of China. As long as I live in this city, I will continue to report. I only report what I see, what I hear. I'm not even scared of death. You think I'm afraid of the Communist Party?
Now, Chun is gone. He disappeared last week and has not responded to messages. So far, authorities will only say he is, quote, under control. Amnesty International say he's been forcibly quarantined. And he's not the only one to pay the price for defying state
Here's the
authority.
shuttle bus.
The blogger Fang Bin took this video from a hospital in Wuhan. It seems to show body bags, victims of the virus. Then he received a menacing knock on his door.
我的体温正常啊，那个刑法上面有一条，你知道吗？我体温正常啊。如果你的病传了给人家，问题是我没有病啊，我体温正常啊。你这样，你拿个身查证来，我不废话，你去拿个身查证来。 你拿搜查证来，如果你够法律条件，我们就按法律办，好不好？你找搜查证来，你没有传递私人的住宅，不允许任何人上床，我有法律保护，好吧？
Fang had been posting
And they
videos
do.
daily,
Let me say
proof that
this.
he was free.
Everybody that goes to China, anybody that goes to China that does any kind of video vlogs or even talks about stuff or any reason is on the internet talking about it. But they do it to everybody. If you're a foreigner and you go to China, they're going to wake you up at 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning or both several nights. And, oh, I need to see your ID. It's like, really? Oh, let me see your passport and your ID. So it's harassment, but they're messing.
He's been unreachable by phone, fueling speculation of
He's
his
probably
arrest.
dead.
When Li Wenliang, a doctor in Wuhan,
They're shooting
warned of the
people,
virus in
they're
December,
welding them in their
authorities
apartments.
accused him
The
and
apartment
several
doors
others
are
of
welded
severely
shut.
disturbing the social order. Now he's dead.
Let me say this again. Yeah, no, he's dead. Let me tell you something. They weld the doors shut on the apartment complexes with the people inside. They don't even let them go out a couple of days a week for food now. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised if we accidentally dropped a bomb and blew up a block of the worst area. I wouldn't put it past them. They are going to stop this. They would have. Look, like I said, when they built the Great Wall of China, guess where what's inside? You want to know what's inside of the Great Wall of China? Like I said, the people who built it. They would shove them in there after they died, cover them up, and they figured they were saving on materials and they were getting rid of the bodies. So I don't know why people want to walk on the Great Wall of China. It's just one big gravestone or memorial to the people that are buried in it. You're walking on dead people. I don't understand why somebody would want to walk on the Great Wall of China. However, it's a tourist attraction. Okay, further here, I want to hear again where they said he's dead.
Authorities accused him and several others of severely disturbing the social order. Now he's dead. 1,000
That
people in
doctor,
China to succumb
34.
to coronavirus so far.
You think he washed his hands?
Mourning and anger have marked his passing. Online
I'm sure
and
he
off,
did
in
everything
defiance
right.
of the state's threats, who is mounting on
Stop
Chinese
it
authorities.
right here. There's also the woman that her husband's taking care of her, and she just went back into the hospital. He was trying to use homeopathy and cabbage and that number 2 I called it cockroach tea, whatever medicines that he thought he could do something with her, but it's still feeding her. But she's not going to get any better. She had to go back, and it was in her other lung. Okay, liters of whatever, and it's a Hail Mary pass. So, and how many shots? I think she said 7. So that woman in a video said, if you don't quit bothering me, I'm going to hug you and give you this, basically give you this disease. And he says, that's okay, I'm wearing a suit. And she says, I was wearing a better suit than you are when I got it. This guy was probably wearing biosuit most of the time, but it's ocular. It goes into your eyes, and he wasn't wearing goggles. He was wearing his glasses. But he could have been wearing his goggles at different times. I'm just going to say it killed him. And it has infected 500 other doctors, and they will die too. Why? Because there's no cure. They want to call it pre-existing condition. We'll blame this in the end on your... Let me tell you something. This is a bioweapon. You're not going to beat it unless you live. That's just all there is to it. It's way worse than... It's SARS 7.0 redesigned. So it's worse than SARS. It's worse than... and will show itself to be deadlier than and more spreadable than the Spanish flu. This is bioengineered to be more lethal. It's designed to kill and designed to infect. It'll be more infectious. The lethality of it, we'll find out. It's not looking good so far. The people that have not died yet have not recovered. They just haven't died yet. Get that through your head. I'll say it again. Just because people haven't died yet, it's because they haven't recovered either. They still have it. This disease, you'll fight it and fight it and fight it for about 4 weeks, and then you die. The mortality rate will be high, but it will be prolonged. So we're on the tail, the very head of this, but we're at the tail end of China's numbers.
Clean on what's happening in Wuhan. And that includes wanting to know what's happened to people like Chun Chou and Fang Bin.
Okay, let's get the latest on the situation in China now with DW's Matthias Büllinger joins us from Beijing. Good day to you, Matthias. What
Honestly, I'm going to
information
get off of this one
are
and get into
people
another
in
one.
China
I'll put links up
not
to these
getting
if you want to watch
that
them
they
all.
so desperately want to hear?
They're not getting the true numbers.
Well, nobody in China knows whether these numbers that we see are real. Every
See that?
information that
They
we
know they're
get
lying.
from Wuhan is that it might even not be deliberate. It might also be deliberate. in hospitals. In order to be admitted
If
to
they
a
die there, they're
hospital,
never tested.
you need to show symptoms of
Die
the
at your
disease,
house, never
and you
tested.
need to be tested. Today, I spoke to a woman who told me that her mother, who had been showing symptoms and was severely ill for 10 days, had been tested 2 times negative until she was tested positive. So until that
Those are
moment,
called
she was
false
also not
false
in the
negatives.
statistics. So there is
There's been, that I know of, a total of 8 false. These are tests that show up negative, and really they should be showing positive. So I don't know if their testing is flawed, or if it's just, or if the virus is able to do this, but we're going to have spread because of that also. The temperature thing to your head doesn't tell anything, because for 24 days this one person had it in 24 days, and then they showed symptoms. For up to 10 to 14 days, they may not even show a fever at all. Your immune system's like, and I'm going to tell you, this is going to eradicate HIV. It's going to eradicate tuberculosis. It's going to eradicate all kinds of diseases, because it's going to kill everybody that has those diseases, because their immune system is already compromised. And that is what they're going to call a pre-existing condition. I'm telling you that I have a pre-existing condition. So do you. It's called the human condition. This is a bioweapon. Don't feel bad if you die from it. I'm just saying that. So I'm gonna play some more.
the mess on the ground that seems to be going on is,
can't
of
play all
course,
these. I'm about to have to get rolling.
Has an impact on the deep-sitting mistrust of, and of course, this is why these citizen journalists go there to get a glimpse of reality.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give you a glimpse of reality. They're lying like hell, and you're not going to get the true numbers. But the doctors are getting the true numbers out. The nurses are getting the true numbers out. Burnout health worker. Let's see. This guy says Pandora's box. Let's see what this says.
It's getting harder to hear from people at ground zero of China's coronavirus outbreak. 5 more doctors were detained by Chinese police for publishing footage of the epidemic filmed inside their hospitals. But this Thursday, NTD was able to speak with a medical staff member in Wuhan over the phone. She works in a hospital at the epicenter of the outbreak. To protect her identity, NTD did not use her original voice and refers to her with the pseudonym Qin Qin. Qin Qin described the desperate situation inside the hospital.
For a while, we didn't have any food. The places that provide food were shut down. Now the meals we have are all donations from the society. If it were not for the donation from society, our hospitals would be over long ago.
She said due to the lack of supplies, only doctors and nurses who are in direct contact with patients can get the right protective suits. Those who don't only rely on face masks and rubber gloves, which are quickly running out, putting the lives of the medical staff on the line.
60 to 70 of my colleagues are infected.
I want to go back.
Some are being treated.
I want to go back. You got to see this, people, and understand how I'm looking at it, because I used to unload those chemicals on tankers. There's a break above her nose. Look at this mask. This mask is supposed to seal to your skin. If you have that mask on that outside, you've just trapped germs that could be, when you take it off and put it back on the outside of that suit. That's garbage. That's BS. That's not how you wear any type of protective mask or goggles. That might keep from splatter, but it's not going to keep that gas of a disease, which is a vapor, from getting into the spaces between. So if you want a good seal, and actually those little white, a one-way check valve, seriously, I'm just going to say this. I have goggles on my face. Then you put, the mask that's under it. You first put it over your nose, and it kind of fits it in a shape, but they don't exactly seal to each other. But you will have a complete seal from your skin to the goggles. That's not a skin to goggle seal. That's a suit to goggle. That's a joke. That's a joke. If I was painting a car or plastic, that's some Home Depot mess. That is not a biosuit. That's a painter's suit. That is paper. Are you with me, people? I don't know if it's permeable, but I know it's good for fiberglassing, and good for painting, but seriously, I don't think it keeps a bioweapon out. And evidently 500 other doctors who are sick right now would probably agree with me. Are you with me? Are we on the same page? Listen to me. But you had to still put tape around your wrists. Not that Scotch tape crap they've got on there. Chemical tape. around your wrist that taped your gloves to the jacket, and around your legs too if it was a gas town. It's all about splash for a tanker driver. For this, you would have to seal up your legs too. That's
60 to 70 of my colleagues
those suits. It's because the way they're putting them on is wrong, and you need help putting that stuff on. It takes 2 people to suit up one other person. That's 3 people. Okay? All right. So as long as we're on the...
Some are being treated, but no one of my colleagues, he's a guy in his 30s. He just collapsed while working. Later, we found out that he was infected.
She hasn't taken a single day off since mid-January and has now prepared for the worst.
And they don't go, look, standard medical school is not bioweapons training, okay? So it's not for them to know. They shouldn't have to know. This shouldn't be out in the first place. But it is, and they need to admit what it is so they know what we're dealing with is a vapor. It's a gas. It's going to be everywhere. And they have got to learn that you got to seal your eyes up to your skin, seal your mouth up, not just those little paper masks. I mean, do the best you can with that. But I'm saying when you can get your hands on one, you get a rubber one that seals. And then you worry about the rest of your body. You just wash the rest of your body. But evidently it needs to be done with some peroxide and that other cleaner stuff, simply because bacterial hand soaps and stuff, Germ-X or what. I know every little bit will help, and water will wash things away. However, then it's in your septic system, or the biomaterial probably in a septic tank to keep it living. So even in the city sewers, it could come from one house to another. There's an apartment that went up into different apartments, but let them talk.
Because of the outbreak, I told my lawyer to prepare my will. If something happens to me, I need to know who is to take care of my child, what will happen to my parent, and what would be done about the house. I think about these problems every day. I don't know what to do. To be honest, I never thought about it, because I don't know when I will be gone.
Yeah, you probably got
China
about 4
has been
weeks.
tightening up censorship around the outbreak. A court from one Chinese province recently said that spreading rumors about the coronavirus can lead up to 15 years in prison.
Oh, they'll give you a
Reporting
bullet.
by Xiaohua Gu, NTD News.
Yeah, they'll give you a bullet for telling anything. If I was in China right now, they would have done picked me up. That's the truth. But I'll put up links. I'll get off this thing in a bit.
It's voluntary. There's nobody checking with anybody, and they're letting some people who they claim are the most elderly and vulnerable off the ship. They take big coach buses and they're putting people on them, but they do it behind plastic wrap, and they put fire engines so the press can't see. But that's just proof that this whole thing has failed, and they're using triage to prevent deaths of the most elderly.
Let me tell you what triage is. Triage is 3. Three. Okay, TRI. Triage. It's a military term. It means this one here, you can mark our X on their forehead, whatever. This one's not going to live. Don't waste our limited resources on him. Give him more feeding and keep him happy, or it'll even take him out. Either way. The second would be, maybe we can save him, okay, but he can sit there and wait a little while, okay? Then there's the next one where if we just put a tourniquet on this guy's leg and cut it off, he'll live, and he needs emergency surgery right away, and it's worth keeping him alive by doing this. That's triage, just so you know what triage is, and it works, you know, and it'll stretch limited resources, but also it'll save lives by not spending time on someone who's definitely going to die versus taking care of someone who you could help. So it's when you have limited doctors, limited resources, or in a wartime situation where there's just so many people coming in at the same time that you've got to use triage. So hospitals use it, they just don't tell you they use it. So I'm gonna go further here.
That's stunning. I know that from your balcony, you all can see the evacuations, the medical evacuations. When you hear things like, I think originally there were 3,600 or 3,700 people on board. I mean, you feel like you're trapped in a place where you're just waiting to get infected with this?
Yeah, well, the whole thing is here we are quarantined, healthy people and sick people in the same location. I think that whole idea that that's how you're supposed to do quarantine.
Listen, they talk about their line about the numbers.
I understand how they want to.
They're watching the
Japanese
news.
Want to protect, their islands, but for us on board, it's not very helpful.
But the guy coming to inspect them got sick.
And we believe that
So he could have been spreading it from cabin to cabin.
Everybody needs to come off. We all need to be tested. We have not been tested beyond our temperature on the first day. We have not been swabbed. They need to find out, just like on the Hong Kong cruise ship, if they're healthy, get them off. And they were able to end their quarantine after 4 or 5 days. We've been here almost 8 days.
No, it needs to be 28
we take
days.
our temperature a couple of times a day voluntarily. We're supposed to voluntarily call if our temperature gets higher than the standard they've set. But that's voluntary. There's nobody checking on anybody. And then we see the numbers going up. So frankly, it's terrifying.
Have they given you any guidance as to when you might be able to get off the ship if you're watching other people that are now being evacuated as of yesterday that are healthy?
They say the 19th is, we're healthy on that day.
I'll let him tell you these numbers, and I'm getting off of here.
Yeah.
It's a 14-day quarantine.
But I don't believe, that's not, they say we're all safest here, quarantining in place. Well, if that's true, why are they offloading bus loads?
And the numbers
of people
quadrupled.
that they don't want to get sick.
Yeah, we have a couple of hundred new cases since the quarantine started. This is not making a lot of sense.
I've seen from the cruise ship lines that you'll all be refunded for everything you've spent, and you'll be offered.
You really need to
another
hear about the
cruise.
rest of what
Would you
they
ever go on
said, but
another-
I'm limited on time. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the next one about the Pandora's box, and I'm getting off this thing. I want you to see a little bit of this.
In China, grief and outrage are growing over the coronavirus. Chinese citizens are demanding answers from the communist government after a young doctor who warned about the coronavirus died from the disease. In late December, 34-year-old Li Wenliang tried to tell the government
I
about the
don't
seriousness
want to
of the
minimize this,
coronavirus.
but we need to get into
He
the
died from
Pandora's
it
box
Friday.
part.
His mother wants to know what happened to her son and why government officials ordered him to remain silent.
Yeah, they want some different
That's why
answers.
they say the Communist Party
Let's
is
see, let me go
responsible.
back here.
And that's placing new pressure on President Xi Jinping.
People are now calling for freedom of speech because they realize it's the nature of the political system that allowed the virus to spread. And that's why they say the Communist Party is responsible for his death. That's the
I'll
reason
put up
why
links to
this
these
has
videos.
caused
You
such
can watch them all by
outpouring
yourself.
grief and
Give you some truth here.
And it also comes just after a Tsinghua University law
They are
professor
lying to us,
has
people.
called for Xi Jinping to step
This is a
down.
bioweapon.
That shows the Chinese
Nothing
people are
moves
losing
like
their
this.
fear of China's
Nothing.
ruler.
In neighboring Japan,
Bleach
more
won't kill
cases of the coronavirus are confirmed on that cruise ship quarantined in Yokohama. The total is now 136. For 1 week, the coronavirus outbreak on the Diamond Princess is the largest outbreak of the virus.
Also, there's a secondary outbreak I want to bring up that is the bird flu, and they think that it may have actually leaked out of the same facility in Wuhan. If that tells you anything, that it could be a leak. The bird flu, avian flu, is out, and they were able to test it too. That bioweapons, they're all bioweapons research facilities. All the level 4 ones, they're trying to make, and each country is going to say, well, we can't shut ours down because then the other one has theirs. Just telling you, there's also another. It's called bird flu. It's killing birds. They lost all. They had to actually use reserve. I think it was up to was it a third of the whole world supply or something? It was a big number. The whole world supply of pork had to be destroyed because of that swine flu that got out. That could have came from this same facility too. So it's odd that it happened just there and not worldwide, but they're trying to definitely keep it from here. But they're saying that even if you go around any of the petting zoos or anything like that, they've given out warnings about you making sure that you don't just get on an airplane because they'd be carried on your feet, kind of like parvo, which is a dog disease, animal disease, or something that's, you can't see it, but it's there. Alcohol kills that, by the way. So most vets use alcohol, but I don't know if alcohol has been compromised. So I'm going to go further here, and then I'm going to get off this
Outside
thing.
of China, with at least 700 passengers and crew quarantined on board. And in Wuhan, China, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak,
The fog
health
is so
officials gave
bad
a China television
from burning
reporter
open pit
equipped
bodies.
with a GoPro camera an inside look at Wuhan Union Hospital quarantine wards.
Oh, that was
Doctors
BS.
and nurses wear protective gear and work 6 hours without rest. Some wear adult diapers because they're not allowed to undress and redress to use the toilet. And Dr. Tang says the Pandora's
That's not a
box
good
has
mask.
been
It
opened,
needs to be up above the
unleashing
ridge of his
disaster,
nose.
fear, and illness.
Oh my God.
But there could
There's a
be
big
one
opening.
thing still left in the box. That's hope.
Jesus.
As long as hope is there, we shall
Another thing too, don't pull that mask down to your neck and back up to your face again, because then what was on your neck is now under the mask. But he doesn't even have it crossed across the bridge of his nose, and he's not wearing goggles. He's wearing his glasses. This is hard.
Not only is a Pandora's box open on the coronavirus, the Chinese.
I want to say something too. Let me just say this, and I'll talk about this later. And don't think I don't know about it, but I'm gonna talk about it later. The word Pandora, okay, being that you open it up and then you can't stop it and everyone dies. Pandora's box is a code word. I'll talk about that.
Has been unleashed as well, and it may have serious political consequences for the Chinese government.
Yeah.
Gary Lane, CBN
And I think
News.
that Xi Jinping guy, that guy, he wasn't even wearing a N95 mask. He wasn't protected anywhere down there. I think he's going to get it, and I hate that. No one wants that because they need a ruler. So I'm going to get off this thing. People, y'all stay safe. That's all I can do. You know, I've did what I can. Y'all stay safe. I'm out.